to another edition of the Voice of Camp Nathanael, happening here on the campus of Camp Nathanael. And for all of our regular listeners, you are probably thrown off a little bit because you're used to Stephen Bell doing the intro and him usually having some sort of silly adjective that he is throwing out towards me. And if you don't recognize my voice yet, this is Lee Sharp. And Stephen is actually out of the studio this week. And so with that, I'm kind of flying solo there on doing some podcasting here, but I did not want to just be talking or y'all just have to listen to me. So I brought in a couple of guests that are hanging out with me this week. This particular week at Camp Nathanael, it's what's known as Work Week. This is a period of time where every mission member is pulled together to be able to fix all the things at camp, everything that has broken or everything that needs repair or everything that needs a good deep cleaning, getting the pool ready. This is a week to pull together. And during that particular week, we invite in guests to come and do teaching sessions with us as mission members, because we don't want to just be preparing camp. We want to be preparing ourselves as well, preparing our hearts, preparing our minds so that we're focused on what we need to be focused on while we're getting camp ready for summer camp. So I've got a couple of guests in the studio with me today, I guess you would call it a studio. It's a card table with some things stacked up on it. I have Tony and Sarah Barber. Hello. I had to look down at my note there for a second. Hey, guys.
Hey, how are you? It's good to see you, Lee.
It's good to hang out with you all.
It's good to be here this week.
So, you all have come in. Tony, you were invited in as the speaker, and we'll jump into a little bit of the history that you all have with camp, and then your church, and then we'll talk a little bit about what we've been talking about this week during the sessions. So I'll go on and start off. I'll let you all do a little bit of intro here. Where are you all from?
Yeah, we are from Vassar, Michigan. It's a small town near Frankenmuth, Michigan. So if you know the map of Michigan, we're in the thumb area of the state.
About an hour and a half north of Detroit.
Y'all got to do the hand thing.
We got to do the hand thing. Yeah, but I don't think the listeners can see that.
You have to kind of visualize it, guys. If you're obviously listening on the podcast, they're like, she's pointing to like the bottom part of her thumb.
Yep, where it meets the mitten.
Where it meets the mitten there.
It's about an 8-hour drive here to Camp Nathanael.
Gotcha.
And it's amazing. So I've been a pastor there for 10 years. Mm-hmm. Came as a youth pastor and now serve as a lead pastor for the last 5 years.
Gotcha.
And when we came, it was just amazing, the love and the partnership that our church has had with Camp Nathanael. The people of our church love this ministry, and we just haven't supported financially, but I think we've been down here to the camp 4 or 5 times with different work projects and trips to be a part of the camp. Our church supports Jeff and Beth McIntyre, mm-hmm. and also Ben and Jasmine Wittenbach.
There you go.
So we have just loved, they've come back and forth to give reports, and we've come down here. What a great relationship that our church has had.
And you all have heard Jeff, at least on the podcast before. He's our camp director. Or not camp director, I guess he's mission director. So he's been on the podcast before talking about, we usually get him here at the beginning of the year to talk about kind of forecasting what's coming, what was exciting about the last year and what was coming up. We need to get Ben and Jasmine on here at some point. I keep telling them that they're going to get on here, but we just haven't been able to work out the schedules yet to where they're on campus while we're recording things. I probably need to pull them at some point this week. But
yeah. Oh, we love Ben and Jasmine and Jeff and Beth. They're so dear to us.
So, Pastor, what was the church that you all are with? I'm trying to...
Vassar Baptist Church, wonderful congregation and wonderful ministry. So we have a team of about 15 people that are here this week. I have the privilege of sharing God's word, mm-hmm. and then a team of volunteers are running a kids program for all of the parents, the missionary parents. So they're running a club for them and loving them,
which we are incredibly thankful for. I'll speak as one of the parents. I have 4 little ones, and so being able to come to a session and sit and listen and not have to have crayons being coloring and passing snacks it makes it a lot easier to focus out.
Yeah.
I'll throw that out there. I don't know that a lot of our parents are incredibly thankful for it because it's a new thing that we're doing this year.
Yeah. And we were just talking last night, all of our volunteers just love the kids here with their ministry. They talk a lot a lot of them are involved in youth ministry, and you have the typical youth kid who doesn't want to listen or doesn't want to be engaged, but all of the kids here, missionary kids, are so engaged, so involved. It makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, we have been having a great time with the kids. We have 3 groups. We have a preschool group, and we're calling juniors, 5 to 8-year-olds, and then 9 to 15-year-olds, so we're calling our youth group. They're a little young, but we have loved it. We have 3 teams working with the 3 groups while all the parents are here and chapel, and yeah, it's been awesome. The kids are very loving and always eager to answer questions and read the Bible and share, and it's been awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah. And it was fun. So Ben and Jasmine Wittenbach were at our church 2 weeks ago, and they were able to give an update of their ministry, and then they gave another plea. Anybody who wants to come, please come. And so we had a couple other people at the last minute say, yeah, we'd love to come. We'd love to be involved. One of those guys works for a construction company in Vassar.
Very cool.
And he was able, spur of the moment, I can come. His boss gave him the week off. And his boss with IRD Homes donated a whole bunch of materials for the ministry, and also provided a truck with a whole bunch of tools. And so the guy in our group, Todd, this is his first time here, and he's excited to do some work projects along the camp as well. So it's a great partnership. A lot of churches, you have the missionaries that you pray for, you send financial report, you get a newsletter. But Camp Nathanael, our relationship that our church has had has been such a blessing as a pastor to love and support and share and really know the ministry. And what this camp does is so amazing, that you guys care for kids in the community, and that many of the kids can work their way to be here free in the summer. And just the reputation that this camp has with the community is amazing. So we love being able to partner with this ministry.
So I'll ask a little bit of the history here, because I know that you all Vassar has supported camp for quite some time. I know that you all have had a little bit of history. I think you all came down a few different times. Yeah. I think is this 5 or 6 now?
Yeah,
this is our 5th trip.
This is the 5th trip down.
Yeah, which is amazing. And so I'll try to make this quick, but Sarah and I, when we were first married, we lived in Big Rapids, Michigan, which is across on the other side of the state. Mm-hmm. And the church there supported Nate and Mary Beth Brace. And as a youth pastor, we brought a team of youth kids there, and we worked with horses in some construction projects. And amazing, would never have known that 10 years after that we would be part of a church that supported the director and the Wittenbachs. So it's amazing.
You were saying something about when you all were down here, you all did something with the radio program.
Yeah, back in it was 2005 or 2006, our youth group played a song on the radio. So for those of you who have listened for a long time, maybe you remember the group from Big Rapids, Michigan.
So technically, this isn't your first time on the Voice of Camp Nathanael.
Right.
Maybe in this format it is, but in the history of the Voice as a radio, it means that this is at least the second time you've been.
Yeah, so we were in this room, I played my guitar, and we had 8 or 9 teens that sang a song.
We sang "Blessed Be Your Name." I think of it still when we sing that song at church.
Yeah.
In this back. So if you don't know, for our listeners, when we record this podcast, we're in the chapel at Camp Nathanael. We're in kind of the back sound room, is probably what you would call it. We've got our soundboard back here, but it's also where we've set up to have the podcast to record, and where they used to have, for a good long time, the radio recording for when we were sending that out to the different radio stations there. So 5 different trips there, and then I know that your all's church has been supporting and been visiting with camp for a good while.
So when Scripture Memory Mountain Mission was founded in 1932, our church supported Garland Franklin, who helped found the camp with his wife. Mm-hmm. So our church has been connected since then with missionaries, I think steadily since the very beginning.
Just 93 years. Just a little bit of time.
A little bit of time, yeah.
Just a little bit of something there. So with that, we invited you in this week to talk through, I guess you were invited by I don't know who invited. Was it Jeff that was calling
Yeah,
and making the invites? I never know who coordinates the speakers for the different things. So
Yeah, and so I think part of it, so there's a lady in our church, Karen Eskelson, who loves this ministry and has a great friendship with Jeff and Beth. And I think they were just talking and brainstorming, and I think they came up with the idea of our church coming and helping. So yeah, I can't remember if it was Jeff or Karen who reached out to me and asked if I'd be available. And I could not say no. I love this ministry, and just thought what a wonderful opportunity to be able to get to know the missionaries here and to share God's word with you.
So I'll go on and ask, what have some of the projects that you all have come in? You've been doing some of the childcare, which has been phenomenal. And you were telling a story there really brief. We had to pause the podcast to work on some technical things there. There was something about field hockey.
Yeah, well, with our youth group, we do a game time and a lesson time, and we took the kids up to the gym and played floor hockey. It was their first time. They didn't know what it was. They were like, is this like air hockey? And I was like, no. And so then they called it ground hockey, but they don't have hockey sticks here. We do in our youth group cupboard at home, but we just used pool noodles cut in half and a ball, and it worked great. And we won 2-0.
There you go.
My wife is competitive when it comes to floor hockey.
Yep.
She changes into a different woman. She's very kind and generous and sweet, but when it comes to floor hockey, she changes and is very cutthroat. Has injured so many people in our church.
I did break my thumb playing it once, though.
There you go. Hockey has not been the most. It used to be a thing. I think up in Lexington there was a hockey team once upon a time. I remember this from when I was little, and it was. I'm trying to remember it correctly now, because it was a horse pun, because we're in Kentucky.
Yeah.
I want to say it's probably been a long time since. If you're listening to this and you're from Kentucky, you may remember this. I believe it was the Thoroughblades, because it was a play on thoroughbreds, but it was Thoroughblades, and they would take Rupp Arena and they'd freeze over the basketball courts. They had a whole system, and they played hockey. And I remember that growing up, and it's since died off now and gotten to the point where not many Kentuckians remember that there was once I don't think it was professional, and it was like a lower league. I don't know how the leagues of hockey work. So somebody, you can write me a letter on that and tell me how the leagues of hockey work, but I do not think that we were in the top leagues there of how that was done.
Yeah. In Michigan, hockey is a bigger deal, especially the farther north you get. There's a lot of clubs and sports of people playing hockey.
Yeah. So what projects, other than helping out with the kids, I know that there's been a few work projects that have been happening. I've seen a few guys out on mowers.
Yeah, so they're doing, some basic cleaning work, cleaning bathrooms. I think they're going to deep clean the kitchen this afternoon. But then there's some other constructions. I heard that there's a plumbing need and project that was taking place. One of our guys, there was a door that was falling apart, and so he's kind of reconstructed one of the doors. So yeah, we're really here, and the goal is anything that needs to get done, we're here to help.
There you go.
And yeah, there's several guys. I'm not gifted in home repair type things, but we have guys that are here that love doing those kinds of things, and they are they're glad to be able to help.
I think the one big project that I heard, one, getting the pool ready.
Yes.
The pool is starting to turn the right colors for swimming. You don't want to swim in you want to be able to see the bottom of the pool. And so it's slowly getting to that point there, getting the pool turned around, getting the pool cover off, getting stuff cleaned up over there. And then I know that one of our cabins, India, has a shower being put in it. And I think it's all of our cabins at Camp Nathanael. If you've been to camp before, and it's been a long time, for a good long time we had a shower house that's farther down the hill, and that's where all the toilets, the bathrooms, all that sort of stuff was. As time has gone on over the past, even just probably the past 5 years, a lot of the cabins have been fitted with bathrooms, all except for one. And so I think that one is finally getting remedied. I don't know. I don't know how much they're planning on getting done this week. They acted like they were going to get it all done. So it may be by the end of this week, we've got everything completely ready to go as we're recording this during work week.
Yep, and all the cabins got cleaned yesterday, so top to bottom, they're ready for campers.
Getting deep clean. So that's kind of normally I'll do a plug at the end there, but for different events that are coming up. But guys, if you haven't already picked up on it, summer camp is coming up really, really fast. This is premiering on June 1st. So there is still a little bit of time before camp starts. If you're not already signed up or you've not got your kids signed up, now is the time to do it. So with that, the last thing that I was going to ask was, you've been talking this week, all week so far. This is Wednesday of this week, so I assume you've got a little bit more that you're planning, and you can give us a little bit of preview if you want.
Sure.
But you have spent the week talking on prayer, and I was going to ask, where or why, or was that prompted, or was I'm just curious now to where the inspiration came from for speaking on prayer during work week.
Yeah, so I've had the blessing of being in ministry for 20 years with youth ministry and as a lead pastor for the last 5 years. And just in my experience, and I think all the listeners will know this, that in ministry, it's not our brain power or our energy, our strength that creates life, spiritual life. It's God's power. And I found for myself in ministry that God answers prayer time and time again. And I know all of the listeners and all of the missionaries here at camp know that truth. Mm-hmm. And so with that theme, I knew coming in that this would not be something that would be new information or things that the missionaries, that would be life altering. But just my heart was, before the busyness of the season, before the busyness of the summer, is if I can encourage the missionaries to dedicate time to focus in prayer and asking God to do great things. And my desire is that this summer, for the camp here, that you'll see God do amazing, great things in the life of the campers. And just for encouragement to all those listening, be in prayer for the ministry this summer. Every single day, if you remember to pray for the missionaries, pray for the campers, that God's Spirit would work and move. And I just know my own life experience that God answers prayer. And when we ask, He says yes. And so that's been kind of my heart's desire, motivation, is just to encourage the missionaries and the staff here to seek God in prayer before the season begins. And also, if they remember just throughout the year, to keep going to God for His help.
Gotcha. And there's a certain is there a passage that you keep going back to? I feel like there was.
Yeah, the first night was a passage from Matthew chapter 7, which is really encouraging verses that Jesus gave at the end of His Sermon on the Mount, where He says, "Ask and it'll be given to you, seek and you'll find, knock and it'll be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks it will be opened." And for my life in ministry, I found that verse to be so true, that God is so willing to say yes when we ask. And Jeff McIntyre, the director, affirmed that after giving the message on Monday night, and said, "Come on, guys, let's do it. Let's think big for the ministry." Mm-hmm. That's just my encouragement for us to keep seeking God in prayer for answers.
Yeah. I know that you would, I'm trying to remember now if it was in Philippians that was it Philippians that you were talking through earlier?
Yeah, today. Yeah, so throughout the week I've been bringing up different passages of Scripture that deal with prayer to teach us how to pray. So the Psalms is a great book that gives us the vocabulary on how to pray. And then also you can see in most every one of Paul's letters, he gives these great prayers for the churches. And for my life, learning how to pray those prayers for my ministry has just been incredible things. Yeah, so this morning I spoke from Philippians 1, verses 9 through 11, where Paul prays that the Philippians would grow in their love for God and for each other, that their love would abound, and specifically that their love would be a love that is wise, discerning, and a love that produces fruit, and a love that brings glory to God. And so I shared this morning that one of my college professors shared with me that every day he prays that he would love his wife well. And I always remember that, and many times I'll wake up because I don't know how to love well in and of myself. So the prayer is, God, help me to love my wife well today. And even in ministry with caring for a church, God, I don't know how to love these people the way that you do. So give me the strength to love them the way that you would. And so that's been a prayer that I have learned in my life in ministry, and I've seen God answer that prayer over and over again. And that'd be great for the ministry. You do it well already, but to continue to love the campers here with God's grace and his help.
I pulled up that passage real quick. I was going to read it for us just because it stands out there. This is from Philippians 1, verses 9 through 11. And reading this out, it says, "And this I pray, that your love may abound still more and more in knowledge and all discernment, that you may approve the things that are excellent, that you may be sincere and without offense till the day of Christ, being filled with the fruits of righteousness, which are by Jesus Christ, to the glory and praise of God." And this is, I really appreciated it this morning.
Oh, thank you, Lee.
I think and it's not that I wasn't trying to pray for love for the campers and whatnot, but I think I really needed that reminder this morning, because when you go, and this is for anybody who's listening, when you go and you pray to God, you want to make sure that you're getting yourself in line with the way he's thinking. Yes. That way, when you do ask him, the answer is going to be, yes, of course. Because I know that I can ask God for things that he's like, no, we're not going to do that. That's happened. Not a good idea. That happens a few times where he's like, I see that you might think that could work out, but no, you really need to, you got to get yourself in line there. And so I'll say as an encouragement for me, that was really helpful this morning, to be able to pause and go, okay, wait, am I loving people the way that you do, God?
Yeah, when we talk about answered prayer in my life, every time I ask God, help me to love the way that you do, God has answered that prayer. And it's amazing to see how God answers that over and over again.
Because he's eager to answer that one. When we say, God, help me to love like you, he goes, of course.
Yes. Done. Deal.
Would you like to start right now?
Yes.
And sometimes that comes out surprising. And then sometimes, it's you've been you pray that prayer, but as you're praying that prayer, you realize that you've been frustrated with someone or some situation that's been happening, and God goes, guess what? You get to go love that person the way that I loved them. And that's a lot of sacrificing and a lot of putting your own desires aside, which I know that we talked about. I don't know if that was this morning or last night. Of putting your own desires aside and saying, okay, no, well, I need to care more about how do I help this other person.
And we all know loving is really hard. It can be really, really difficult. But God is full of love and compassion and mercy, and his love abounds. And so he's more than able to help us to love as he loves.
Well, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up here. I appreciate the work that your team is being put in. Thanks for letting me steal you for a few minutes to come and hang out and do a podcast. You all have been expressing a lot of love towards us as missionaries here, and we really appreciate that. And hopefully we're able to reciprocate that back as well. But with that, guys, we're going to wrap up. Guys, anything, last notes?
Just to all the listeners, keep praying for the ministry here this summer. Keep supporting the ministry any way that you can. We love this place. It is. We see God working and moving in so many great ways. So even right now at the end of this podcast, take a couple of moments to pray for the ministry here for the summer that's about to start. And you can look forward to seeing God doing some great things in the ministry here, I believe. So thank you, Lee, so much for giving us this opportunity to share.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for being able to jump in. With that, guys, if you, again, I'll echo it again here. If you have kids that could be campers and they are not signed up yet, there is still time right now. It's going to be the last few slots that you're sliding into there, but by all means, hop onto our website, campnathanael.org, and you'll find information on all the different dates, all the stuff that you need to get ready for camp. And with that, you may even spot some other ministries that are going to be happening after the summer ends. We have stuff that's happening here all year long. It's not just summer camp, but right now we're kind of in summer camp mode. So with that, guys, we will come back with y'all again on the 15th with some more info on summer camp. And our goal is to have our new summer camp director in here to give you some of the behind the scenes for how we've been prepping for summer camp. And with that, guys, we'll talk to you all again soon.